New driver for you to test, Matt.
New driver?
Callaway Big Bertha.
Oh, what a morning.
B21, I think. We'll have a look in a second. So this is a draw bias, lower spinning driver. High MOI, low spin.
Help those slicers.
But just hear that. Higher MOI.
That's dreamy.
Low spin.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's like magic has finally happened. It's there. Should we test it?
Yeah, let's.
Right, let's have a look at it then, Matthew. So first question, maybe for the comments down below, and this could be the competition, because what could they win in today? We've got a competition today.
Have we?
Yeah, 2 dozen.
What a treat.
Chrome Soft X balls.
Yeah, nice.
But we need to get the video to a certain amount of likes.
How many? Do you want to pick?
Yeah, you choose. 3,000.
3,000 a good number?
If this gets to 3,000, someone in the comments who talks about the name, so in the comments I want you to tell me about the name. Big Bertha obviously means something to me. Does it mean anything to anyone else? Are Callaway just flogging the dead horse? Like keep bringing out this old brand in new, or do we love it? I don't know what people think. So you need to post a comment on that. You need to hit the like button. If it gets to 3,000 likes, someone who posts an interesting comment that tickles my fancy.
Ooh, okay.
Will win the 2 dozen Chrome Soft balls. Anywhere in the world they will go.
What a treat
Chrome
to start
Soft
this video.
Chrome Soft X's. So what do you think of the looks of it?
I like the looks. It's stayed with the classic colours and everything of Big Bertha, isn't it? The blue and red and white.
Well, you say that, you see, that's an older generation. I remember the Big Bertha being grey all over, obviously, but you do remember the blue one. So I hear what you're saying, and that's again my point with the branding of this name. But there you go.
The shape of it's very much like my Max from the top.
It's almost triangular.
Yeah, so stretch back, and we'll talk about the features and stuff in a minute, but very stretched back. The only difference is that leading edge seems to be pointing out in front of the hosel more than what it does on my Maverick.
Feels almost set back more.
Yeah, sort of onset.
Yeah, changeable neck, obviously. We'll talk about the tech in a second. This little red line on top as well.
Nice. Lining
up an idea. Certainly more maybe bias left or not?
It's straight to a tiny bit closed.
Okay. So 2 drives, Matthew. I want a standard. Just hit it. How far left does it go or not? And then I want you to try and fade the ball, because the big talk with this driver is it's meant to be helping people curve it less.
Yeah.
So lots of the marketing will be called draw. We might even say draw biased in this video, and I try not to, because it's just what people know. I hate that term, because I can't imagine any driver as a coach standing here turning someone who cuts the ball into a drawer. Yeah. Unless you're really tiny.
Yeah,
like you,
fader,
so you wouldn't be worried anyway. But it might reduce curvature. So if you're curving it 20 yards in the air and losing them off to the right, this might only curve 15 or 10. And then you've got a new tool that might help you hit fairways, is where I would see it. So a straight one, stroke normal. Normal, so
drawery kind of feels for me, that is.
Yeah, and then I want a cut.
I'm going to aim up right and see if it draws back.
Oh yeah, drawing.
Over the bunker.
It's a good shot. Because I honestly think that there's potential in this driver for you if it does what it says, because it's also meant to be lower spinning. It's forward CG and high MOI, which again we'll talk about in a second, which is a bit mind-blowing and maybe a little bit gimmicky in what it says. But if the spin is lower,
that's a big win if that is the case.
Yeah. So now we're going to go for the cut and see how reduced that comes out. Cutty or not?
You won't beat that one.
Well, was it a straight ball, was it?
No, well, it was a minute cut, like literally finished probably 5-10 yards right of my first ball, so it'd be interesting to see the difference in distance there. Because normally my slices are a bit more spinny, so if that's up there with my normal ball.
Was it reduced cut for what you felt like you put in?
Like my cut's not very good at the moment, so it's hard to tell, but it just felt like a good shot. Like the sound, like the feel.
So what I've got, there's down by the ball, I quite like a driver that sits slightly closed.
Okay.
Because it actually makes me cut it and fade it and draw it. I can do both. I don't like a driver sat open, I've learned over time. Okay. So I sit my driver a little bit this way as an exaggeration. Yeah. Because obviously if you're going to hit a cut, you want the face closed. I know people that blows their head off, but if you want to start at the left, it has to be closed to 0. Yes. I just need the path moving. So I like the way this sits. I like that this is so stretched back here.
Yeah.
I don't like the look of it, but I like it because I get what they're trying to do, because they're trying to make the CG
Go back.
be ridiculously low.
Yeah.
While being forwards,
Yeah.
which is what that is about. Like
Yeah.
other drivers, you know, like your Epic normal,
Yeah.
and
Sits
your
up,
Maverick normal, it curves up more.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm putting this down by the ball as someone who's trying to hit a straight to little draw at the minute. I feel like I might hit these trees on the right.
Bringing back memories of Big Bertha or not?
No, because I didn't use this generation. Brings back memories of ones I used to sell.
Yeah.
Quite a neutral shot, not drawing anymore.
It's on the bags.
Again though, I do feel like I'm happy playing a slight draw bias driver anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go cut now.
Okay.
So in theory this might be harder to cut. I'm not going to try any, you know, I'm not going to override it, I'm just going to play it. I do like the red line on top, and I always like that Callaway V.
Smart, isn't it? Easy to line up.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I hit it.
you hit the wire.
I hit the wire. You know what the rule is with that?
You play it again.
I think you have to.
Yeah, you have to play it again. Yeah. That's amazing.
Well, I thought if I can start it on that wire.
Oh, lasered.
Wire ball. Bear with, ladies and gentlemen.
That'll be a fun little pro tracer
Someone's
thing,
just
won't
had a
it?
flicker on their telly down in Oniton.
Yeah, you just knocked Honiton's electric out.
They're just watching Phil and whatever her face is. And it's just gone.
Phil and Holly.
Right.
Bet you can't do that again.
I reckon I can.
Oh, that's a lovely little cut, sir.
Like it's. I would be close to gaming this.
Woo!
Because I like the way it counts. It feels very. Like that side's going to be hard to find.
Yeah.
I like that. We'll have a look at the tech. I've got something in my bag up here, and we'll have a little look at the tech. So this driver's meant to stop this kind of disaster, Matthew. That's brilliant. In theory, you're meant to not be coming in the long grass and chucking your card away as much. So let's look at some of the tech. So first thing we're going to do, let's look at this weight system where they're saying it's high MOI but forward CG to reduce spin. And what we see is we see weights at the back. You can see how that comes through here. We also see weight very much in this corner here. I don't know if you're picking up that bar in this corner. So into the heel. And then obviously we get jailbreak, which we've had in Callaway clubs for a long time, is stability between the top and the bottom. But these bars obviously bring weight forward. So you get CG forward and in the heel and super low, which is the high MOI and the low spin in theory. I mean, take that with a pinch of salt or as much as you want. I think it's really clever marketing, but when I've tested MOIs and things like that, it's so hard to actually see a huge difference. We've got indoor testing to see if that spin number does come down further on in the video. We've also got carbon top. So I gave this to my kids yesterday to pick up, this carbon top. It's so light. It's like
crazy,
ridiculously light. It's literally like and also just a point on these, I showed this to my kids yesterday and we're like, what goes in there? Nothing goes in there.
That's it.
That is it, and that goes on top, and there's your club. It's quite an amazing construction. We've also got the changeable neck. So as we've seen in Callaway for a long time, so you can manipulate lies for draw, even more draw bias, I guess, and then also loss for dialing, those kind of ideas. We've got flash face, AI face. Now, what is interesting, if you look at the face, I don't know if you're picking that up,
This surprised me, like I hadn't seen it before.
it's like something out of Terminator. I mean, normally faces you have these geometric almost shape of just a curve in the middle, where this one is literally rippled.
Yeah.
It's like a sea, like the top of a pond, where they're trying to work out, or from their data set, from the standard of people in theory they're trying to sell this club to, they want it stronger and weaker in different places and faster and not. So that is very interesting to see.
Yeah.
What difference that makes. Again, when I test, I don't see a huge difference, but over time you might, and if you test and do, you know, let me know again in the comments down below. And then what we see as well is we see like the face is quite forward of the neck almost, so this onset almost face, which you do see a little bit down the dress, that makes, again for me, make it feel like I want to draw it. And it's a very much this kind of triangular weight forward with jailbreak, back and low, and then in the heel. It's kind of this triangle of weight, which is where they're really focusing the energies to give you that high MOI, low spin idea drivers. Now when they say low spin, I'm imagining 300 revs lower, so you're still going to have to do a lot of work, but if you're someone who's hitting, you know, big wafty cuts, that 300 revs might help you. As a golf coach, I don't think it'll help you as much as a coach could help you. This is my standard.
Standard, a little bit further. Dead centre.
There's my cut.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say is my pattern. If I'm cutting it, I'm not as strong as if I'm hitting up and out.
Speed's a little bit down, possibly.
I would say speed is, I have to, well, I can get the speed the same, but I have to work harder.
Yeah.
So in theory, I feel like I'm swinging this one harder to get it the same as that one.
Yeah.
And the launch characteristics of that one are better for me. Lower spinning, higher launching, and again, less curvature, which is kind of everything this driver is trying to do. I mean, this sums up what this driver is. It's trying to reduce this gap. This is the higher spinning, more curvature swing for me.
Yep.
And it's shorter.
Yep.
So that's why this driver's been invented, because of this gap.
Yes.
Obviously you can't close this gap. If you could, it would be banned. But in theory, other drivers, they're saying, Callaway is saying that one might be there.
Yeah, gain of a few yards, possibly.
Because I can control the angles for direction, but I've gained 7 yards, 5 yards. Because if you're reducing curvature, you are going to squeeze out a few more yards. And a company, to be honest with you, that's been saying that for a while now is Ping. Ping have done some great studies and shown with their movable weights, they talk about, if it's not about making it draw or fade, it's about reducing curvature. If you reduce curvature, you can squeeze some extra yards out. So I think that gap there sums up why this club is what it's trying to do. Let's have a look at yours. What do we have here, sir?
Well, the fade is closer to the fairway.
Okay.
But yardage is very similar for me on these two.
So
I would say that that's probably a bit further.
You might need to go and stand, because we're not going to pick that up. So Matt's just going to stand by his standard shot, which I reckon on the angle is like 3 yards further, nothing in it.
Yeah, it's probably 3 to 5.
Because you can even see this one's landed, it's pitched and stopped.
Yeah.
So for you, and you did say you ripped this one on the tee, you were like, you ain't going to get past that.
That's how I would have envisaged a fade driver with strike and everything, yes.
So in theory for you, you feel like that did bring it closer?
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of maxed out with that one. So that's probably got a bit more potential.
Yeah.
But very good.
Right, we're going to go inside, look at the numbers in a second, because it'll be interesting to see what has happened to the spin, if it is any noticeable difference. Because you've got to remember there's a Maverick Max, which you use. Like, do we need another driver from Callaway is the big question. I mean, you can post comments down below, because Callaway are a little bit, like, they have a lot of clubs that just keep staying out, like they don't end.
Like, I would say that this is very similar to the Max, but if it does have that lower spin, then it's definitely something that I would be looking into.
And I always think with these videos, consumers watch them thinking, oh, do I need another club? No, you don't.
No.
But if I was a fitter,
yeah,
any extra tool that a company gives me possibly is a good thing, because this might give you an option of fitting it into someone that you couldn't fit as easily before.
Yeah, yeah.
So I always think people think not every driver's aimed at each person watching this video. You're probably, if you bought a driver in the last 5-6 years, you're okay.
Fine. Yeah, you're fine.
Like, don't get offended. But
yeah,
saying that, I do think Callaway have a lot of clubs out there, which contradicts what I just said. So again, it's where you kind of stand, like, do you care or not? Like, because I don't really care that much, so because I wouldn't be buying
iPhones,
them.
don't they? Apple bring out a lot of iPhones.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
It matches my bag, actually. I've just noticed too. Like, very nicely.
Doesn't match mine though.
No, you're very dark, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I've gone all moody.
Grumpy in your old age. Right, I'm going to aim this a bit more right, because I feel like it's going to draw more.
Okay. Oh, see, I don't know, but I like my students to have a bias.
That's nice.
Yeah, I don't see you hit many controlled draws like that.
No.
I do like my students to have a bias, and sometimes they don't like their bias. Oh, everything cuts.
Yeah.
Yes, and what's the problem with that?
Yeah,
if everything cuts, you're the most predictable golfer I've ever met.
I want consistency.
Yeah,
oh, right, yeah, good one. Like you just hit them all like here.
Yes, they're all 40 yards right, but you could aim literally 6 degrees left, and that might equate to that. So yeah, I that curves, that was a nice draw.
So what I also feel with this driver is if it's going to be like a positive draw, if I go to my cut swing, I feel like I could probably be really aggressive with it.
I totally agree.
And not go too far.
But let's see. Let's have an aggressive cut into the centre. Oh, this is going on the practice area now, you said that.
It totally is, yeah.
Practice area being over here. See, that's what I feel. That's a gentle little cut, pretty much to the same position. I want to know how far those two are.
They've pitched identical in line.
Yeah, distance, I want to see them.
That'll be so interesting. You doing the same? Drawing a fade?
Yeah, well, I'm going to hit my standard shot, which in theory should draw.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to hit the fade, and I totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I like my fade club to be set up in the draw fashion, and I know people will find that a little counterintuitive, but it basically, if you think about it, good players have done it all the time. I'm reducing the curvature.
Yeah.
So if my club is set up to a fade, if I then try and play a fade, it adds fade, it's increasing the curvature. Obviously, if I'm trying to hit pretty straight to a slight draw, you could argue this might increase the draw curvature.
Yeah.
So then it wouldn't work possibly, but then there's a part of me that when I do increase the draw curvature, I win on launch conditions because I get the low spin I launch from my draw. So I can see why my drivers through history have I've always started setting them up slightly this way.
Yeah.
So this is just going to be me hitting like straight, but hoping it's a little draw and the club does its draw. Hit that pretty nice. It was a little draw. One thing that I always would struggle with this, okay? If I start hitting a few overdraws, then my head scrambles. Oh, is that me? Is that the club? I can't use this anymore. So there's this constant battle in my mind when you load up a club a certain way, which is why I like neutral, but with an ability to sit slightly closed. But like, I would take that all day long. And I'm gonna hit the cut now, but I feel the same. I feel like this is a cut machine.
Yeah.
My cutty swing was a little bit necky, so it's going to be a lot shorter, which we saw on the last, even from a decent strike. I agree with you, Matt. I feel with this club, like I can aggressively go for my cuts. What I mean by that is I can hit it really hard. I don't have to feel like I'm just hitting a little gentle patty cut. And I just don't feel like it's really going to be lost massively off the right. So if you are that standard person losing stuff off the right, if you're not testing this driver, then I would say you're being let down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. People will, oh, he's biased. I literally don't care what driver any of you have. Like, I don't care. I've never cared what driver anyone has, apart from me.
Yeah.
All I care about is that you're making the best decisions.
Yeah.
Because they cost a lot of money. So if you're not testing this driver as someone who wants to reduce curvature to the right, then you're not, I don't think because I think as anti-draw drivers go, and again I hate that term, less curvature to the right we could say, or more curvature to left, subject to what you want to, you might be a gentle draw and want to turn into a bigger draw. I'm quite interested in seeing if the spin numbers are down, because the ball flights are looking much more like my standard ball flights, but with a bias to the left.
Should we go to the numbers?
Let's look at the numbers. Oh, actually, before we look at the numbers, let's look at these.
Oh, okay. I was going to do that after the numbers.
Oh, I like that. Let's go to the numbers.
Right, so let's have a look at Mark's numbers to start with. So we've got his usual swing, the blue Big Bertha B21 at the top here, and then he's done a cut swing here to see how much curvature he gets with this new club. Let's compare the numbers. So swing speed is slightly down with the cut swing. Dynamic loft is maintaining throughout the two swings, so very similar. Dynamic lie, good, hardly changing. Now, if you look at up here, you can see with the cut swing, he's coming right across that cut ball, and for the cut swing his face is open to his path but closed to target, so trying to bring that ball back to target. With his normal swing, path a lot straighter, face a lot more neutral. And looking at the strike here as well, very similar, both a bit toey. To finish off, angle of attack a bit more down with the cut swing also. So if we take a look at the ball numbers now, ball speed slightly down with the cut swing, but Mark not going full out with that, trying to compare it to what this club's probably pushing towards that market with a slower swing speed. His normal numbers though, absolutely great. 2.5 spin, maybe a tad high, carrying 265, so pretty decent numbers. And if you go to the cut swing, the spin is actually very good. 2.8 on a cut swing. Normally you'll probably be around 3,000 for that sort of swing. Carrying 251, but definitely a straight, not as curvy ball flight there with the new Big Bertha B21. So let's take a look at my numbers. I've hit a neutral ball, what my normal swing will be, and cut numbers, and I've also done it with my Maverick Max at the top here, the cut swing, as it was interesting to see what spins I would get. And they're actually very similar, the two clubs, and I would say that the Maverick Max is sort of designed similar to the Big Bertha B21. Spins within 100, carry within 2 yards, ball speed's very similar, but if you look at my normal swing, definitely more draw biased, finishing left of that target. So there is definitely something going on in that head. Oh, a stinker of a lie you found there. I'm not gonna
Look at the line as well. Look,
Yeah.
I'm just, that's my Healy cut.
Yeah.
In the fairway.
Yeah.
On the left side.
Yeah.
So again, Healy cut I would expect to be more flapping
Over
out
on the
to the right. Obviously on this instance it screwed me, but I'm going to pick this one up. My other one is like 30 yards further down, which is my standard shot. So strike plus curvature on that one. But again, that did okay.
Mine is so interesting.
Yeah, look at yours. So here's my standard decent one.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm happy with in relationship to where yours are.
Yeah.
And we saw that from those numbers, didn't we?
Yes.
Inside. Like for a cut swing numbers for me to be at 2.7.
That's good, isn't it?
With some of them even being down at like less than 2.7 was quite impressive.
Very.
So high MOI, low spin, it's a contradiction, but then I think MOI is a bit of a contradiction. Obviously I think it's a physical thing, but I think companies and people's ideas of something being higher and lower MOI, well, I've tried measuring it so many times, it's
hard to do. Look at these.
Wow.
They are.
So for you, it's really bringing you closer together, isn't it? That's the fade, I presume.
Yeah, on the course, I'm definitely seeing those as being like the last hole as well, lengthwise.
Yeah.
Very similar. And I've hit these both pretty good.
Yeah.
So to see that difference in my draw swing and fade swing is nice.
I mean, for me, the standout thing with this is if you're not testing this because you want to see if it reduces curvature. I mean, I'll be honest with you, this club arrived, I looked at all the guff and I thought this is going to be boring.
One of them.
High MOI, low spin, yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Good one. You know, I got loads of hair, but I got no hair. Like, we can all do this. I got massive feet, but they're size 9. This glove is huge, but it's a small. It's just like I make 10 birdies around, but I struggle to make one. But I could go all day.
Yeah, yeah.
But testing.
Yeah. Like, I just love that I can be so aggressive, being more of a drawer feeler, to then go so aggressive fade on a club that's meant to reduce it. Like, it's just great, isn't it?
This is where I think ego takes the better of many golfers, and even mine in the start of this review. Here we go. Boring draw club, great. No one stops a draw. It's reduced curvature is the standout thing. We say draw, let's try and drop that, and I'm going to try and change the terminology I use. It's so hard because you get into the habit of just saying what manufacturers put out. It's a reduced curvature to the right driver. Joe, well, that's not so catchy, is it?
No.
Are you getting? Yeah, because you are.
Do I?
I honestly, if I was coaching you, if I knew you wanted to improve, I'd be saying I have to see some rounds of this.
Yeah.
Like I want 4 rounds of this against 4 rounds of that, and let's compare.
Maybe I'll do that and stat it and let's see.
Yeah, and I would like, and if people in the comments down below, remember we've got the competition, win 2 dozen Chrome Soft X's. We need to get to 3,000 likes. I think this video has been brilliant.
I do
deserves
too.
it.
Yeah, we are pretty brilliant, and those drives were brilliant. Like those drives deserve 6,000
Yeah,
likes.
I agree.
whenever I've
Matt
seen them.
nearly hit 2 fairways with
Yeah.
that club.
I'm still not on it, am I?